Quack.
Nathan is like, what have I gotten myself into by joining this? What is going on, everyone? And welcome in here to the Oregon Ducks live show. Apologies for being late. It's my fault, as always. It's always my fault. I'm always the one to blame for being late. How are you guys doing tonight? We got Spaz and we have Nathan right here below us here. Huffman. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing
I'm doing
good.
great.
So,
Waiting on these
before,
smoke people to get the show going.
God, yeah, I know. Blame me. It's always my fault. Same as the Sunday night shows. I know it's always my fault. That's fine. I'll take that. So, what we're here to talk about tonight, and I'm not sitting here acting like the expert as I just told you guys beforehand. So you guys, by all means, are probably much more knowledgeable and up to date on specifics and really good details than I am on this. But everything I've seen, I, I don't know what to do with this recruiting coming up. I mean, not just this class, next year's class, but even looking at 2026, because the coaching staff is putting together just a insane roster, including a couple of potential flips coming up of high level guys.
Yeah, we're hitting the recruiting trail hard as of late. Now Coach Samples is on board. He's been running the recruiting trail. They were Coach Samples and Coach Stein were recently down in Texas, and were able to have a little conversation with one Kellen Russell out of Duncanville, who Coach Samples is very, very familiar with. Also, Duck fans know Oregon's also been highly recruiting wide receiver Decorian Moore, who is Russell's target. And Russell's currently committed to SMU. However, listening to Scoop Ducks, Max Torres, and a few others talking the last few days, it looks to be a soft commit at this point. And he told Max on his interview last week that basically Oregon was one of the places he was always kind of looking at. And just the other day, Oregon gave him an offer. So we'll see.
Yeah, talk about Coach Samples. He's finally getting his feet wet. He finally got his first commit as an Oregon Duck. He got Hill, as you both well know, and most Oregon fans know. You know, he's 5'10", 180 pounds. He was the number six athlete, even though Oregon has him listed as a running back. He was listed on most sites, on 3247 Sports, all those that he was mostly an athlete. He was number 139 nationally, and he's a 91.99 on three. These stats he's putting up this last year is just they pop off the paper. I mean, let me read you these stats. There are 131 carries for 1,788 yards this last year. I mean, how does that not pop off the paper? That is over a 13-yard average per run. It's when he gets the ball, he's electric. He doesn't slow down when he changes side to side or tries to make someone miss. He kind of has that. I hate to bring this up, but he almost has that D'Anthony Thomas kind of feel to him, where he could get it and just go to the house, but you don't know which way. He's not going to slow down.
Yeah, I saw that, I did see the stat line. I read into that. If anyone ever has an average of over 13 yards per something, whether it's catch, throw, let alone rushing, that's ridiculous numbers. yes, it's high school. Yes, yes. But that translates also later on to potentially your collegiate career. That means you are like an unstoppable force. You're shifty, break tackles, all that kind of stuff. And he's only going to get better with better coaching, too.
Well, of course, exactly. And he, I mean, he was on a 1A high school team. I mean, that is some people don't like that because they're not bigger power and everything. And I think that's possibly why he, some people are overlooking him for whatever reason, even though he's a great athlete. Like you said, I mean, over 13 yards of carry, that's just eye popping. He had 23 rushing touchdowns also, and he played some wide receiver. He had 13 carries for 218 yards, but he took 3 of them to the house.
Yeah, he's got some good skills. It's we're this class. I'm not the greatest on recruiting. I used to never really pay attention to a lot of that stuff, but as I was on a space the other day, and I heard another guy, older gentleman like myself, that was, saying the same thing, basically, that now that I'm getting older, it's like you kind of like become a little more entrenched into kind of seeing how things go and how things get put together, and so it's kind of different, and getting to see different sides of the whole aspect of how you really put a team together, and it's pretty crazy. There is a lot that goes in. There is a lot that goes into putting a powerhouse team together, and making all the puzzles and the pieces work together, and it's impressive. And to be as a fan as long as I have of this program, and to see the struggles and the ups now, and then the downfalls, and then the comeback ups, and it's like, oh, you're almost there, and you're like waiting for that magic. Is it gonna come? Is it gonna come? And you're so used to getting right there and it falling off the shelf, and now I'm like, maybe we might be able to reach it this time. So I'm enjoying the ride and enjoying the process, and it's a learning process for me all the way around.
Well, one of the things that's different though with this, because I'm the same, like I said, I'm not the highest and most knowledgeable person when it comes to like all the breaking recruiting news. You hear about the targets, the potential flips, and all that stuff. You hear that, but when it comes to like this staff, this seems to be the most almost excitement, I think, behind the recruiting, because everyone knows we're kind of like maybe just a couple pieces away from breaking that threshold of everyone saying can stop maybe saying O means zero, kind of thing, I mean,
Yeah, it was like I was
so it's an exciting time,
I
basically.
was
So
listening. It was funny listening to former Oregon offensive lineman Jeff Schwartz on Scoop Duck Daily yesterday with Scoop Duck's Max Torres. Uh, he uh, he was just saying how, when I was here in 2004 to 2007, it was, two 3-star guys, and we're building this little thing. And what it, he said one of the big Oregon, Darren Thomas, I believe, was like a low 3-star, but he said nowadays he'd be a high 4-star, and different other guys that were like 2 stars are really, when you come to the end of it, they're 4 and 5 stars, and some of them have gone on to bigger careers and stuff. And now we're getting the 4 and 5 stars that nobody ever thought we would get.
Well, I mean, what was Mariota? He was a pretty just average 3-star.
I
His
think
only
he was a
offers
three
were
star.
his only offers I think were Oregon and Washington were the only two schools that offered him. That was
Yeah,
it.
now he's been in the league 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, he still had a successful career, and
Absolutely.
obviously one of the best at Oregon as a quarterback by far. Definitely one of the best. The only Heisman winner, for damn sake, you know. So I don't think you can doubt that career and that potential and that growth that he had.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
yeah, and back in the day, we were getting the, we were getting the the lower tiered guys. We weren't getting the Cam Newtons and the uh, Joe Montanas, and we weren't getting those guys. We were getting guys that people didn't know, and having to put the pieces around them and build them, and that's what the whole Oregon program has done over the last 30 years, from Brooks now all the way up to Dan, and it's just amazing. Before that, you didn't even think about talking Oregon football. The Ducks, yeah, right. And now here we are, 25, 30 years later, and we're being talked about as potential national championships in the next couple of years. Playoff team every couple of years, every year lately, or close to in some form or capacity. Uh, Lanning's 23-5, and 3 of his losses are by a total of 12 points. That's pretty good for a third-year head coach.
Yeah,
Like that was
he's doing a great job. He's just killing it. I mean, the whole Oregon staff is, but on top of that, they have an awesome facility. I mean, if you look into all the facilities across the nation right now, they're one of the top. They were ahead of their time. They have their own barber shop, their lounge for their players, video games. I mean, you name it, they got it. Phil Knight's always trying to impress everybody, making sure everyone's got what they got. You know, feel good, you look good, you feel good, you feel good, you play good, right? I mean, that's the motto right there. Deion Sanders, I mean, he's head coach, but I mean, that's a good motto right there if I've ever heard one. And it goes to fruition. I mean, look at all the players, like you said. You hear all the flashy uniforms and everything. You hear Johnny Manziel talking about, that's all they've ever wanted to do is come out west and play for Oregon, play for all the fancy gear and the 100 uniform combinations. I mean, who has that in the NCAA like Oregon does? They are very lucky to have Phil Knight and Nike backing them like they do.
We got a Sunday night invader alert. Invader alert.
Michigan. Well, I'm not saying that Oregon's going to go into the Big Ten. Now, the projection is people are thinking Oregon will go into the Big Ten and make quite a noise. Quite a noise. But yeah, your point about Manziel. A lot of people forget Johnny Manziel was committed to Oregon
Yes,
at the same
he
time
was.
Mariota was. Then he left and he decommitted and went to A&M.
He left because
I
Mariota beat
personally,
him out.
yeah, well, I would take Mariota over Manziel any day personally. But the argument, also is Oregon, Nike, like you just said, Phil Knight, their NIL is through the roof. They'll just buy a player, and then you actually look at the numbers, and Oregon's behind like the USC, and Oregon's beating USC for these recruits. So to me, that says one, culture, location, coaching staff. It's not just about, hey, you're worth this amount NIL wise, which is a whole different factor that no one had to worry about until, a few years ago, 2 3 years ago. then you
I
have to
mean,
consider that.
not in public.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you go back, Reggie Bush. I mean, there's lots of players that made money. Johnny Manziel came out and talked about it in the multiple documentaries. I mean, there was players getting paid way, way back. It's not something that's new. It's just finally everyone can get paid and they can, and it was, the NIL was made so players aren't starving, during their college trip. I mean, during school, during the 4 years they're there, they should be able to, if they're in a video game, they should be able to collect money off that. I agree with that. But at the same token, this has been going on for years. It's not just all of a sudden coming now, just a few last years.
Yeah, well, it's who got caught doing it. That was, I guess, the difference.
Yeah. I mean, but like I said, Oregon's facilities, I mean, you look at across the nation, they're the top 10, if not the top 5
Probably
everywhere
top
you
5.
look.
Oh yeah, I would definitely argue top 5. I'm not gonna say they're number 1 right now, but
There's been a lot of analysts across the country that have came out recently and stated that Oregon probably has one of the top 5 put together in the nation as far as facilities.
Well, and they're
Some
still
maybe
building.
even top 3.
They're still building the new indoor practice field too, right? They're still
Yes.
in the process of building that. So
Which
the
is
old
supposed to
one-
be done in February of 2025.
Yeah,
Probably.
looking more like 26 now.
Yeah. It was supposed to be, I should say.
It was supposed to be, but there were some permit issues and other things, and so it's taken a while to iron out the landing and everything. So, based on what I read the other day, it's probably looking more like 26. But it was kind of written wrong, poorly in a way, because the way it looked like was, oh, they're going to just build basically a dome over top of what they already got. No, that's not what's happening, folks.
Well, the one they got now is not shabby or anything like that. But the fact
No,
that like, you know what, we're going to get
nothing to take a stick at already. They're building the state-of-the-art facility now.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not like they have a bad one right now, but they're like, you know what, it can be better, and we're going to build it. Why not? That's the point. They're always looking. Yeah. Well, I thought this was saying always looking forward, but yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, always looking forward. So I think that's what the whole kind of mantra of Oregon is trying to always look forward, whether it's innovation, technology, scientific stuff, whether protection and padding or whatever it is. It just feels like, yeah, they're always trying to look forward in some manner.
Always trying to make another step up. Yep. And that's the building of the program that has happened over the last 30 years.
All right, and I'm gonna stop you, Stat. You said it twice now. I'm gonna correct you. Fine. It's program.
Oh, program.
Program. No one's wearing a program shirt tonight, but
no, but we're all wearing green.
The grass is damn greener over
there. It is.
Yes, and this whole Oregon is, and all these teams are coming to the big. They don't know what they're. It baffles me some, because a lot of people really the more you listen, it's just like, have you people has anybody not watched the Oregon program in the last 20 years outside of the West Coast? Are we really that secluded? Because some of these people are like, oh, they'll never stand a chance moving. They'll never stand a chance doing this over here. Yeah, okay. We're already there before we even came there. people forget that Dan Lanning came from the Kirby Smart, Nick Saban learning tree. That's like coming from the Andy Reid tree in the NFL. I mean, he won 2 national championships as a defensive coordinator. Three top 5 recruiting classes. Hello. And they just, oh, well, Oregon still doesn't, they're not going to have a chance against us over here because we're just bigger and badder. Okay. Well, Oregon went and got bigger and badder too. We're going to see, because I don't think people realize just that side of Utah realize just how good Oregon is. Ask Deion Sanders. He thought he had it all until he ran up against Oregon last year. And what happened? 42-6 could have easily been 72-6. But we let off the brakes because that's what we do, because we're a class program. We don't keep stomping you into the ground. Okay, you're done. We'll nicely put you down and lay you to rest. I'm pumped. I'm ready. It's only May, man. And I'm like, when's September going to get here? Because I'm ready to I'm ready to eat I'm ready to eat humble pie, but I'm ready to eat some good old fashioned apple pie as well.
I do want to note, I think I did see Nathan smirk/smile briefly there for the first time. I was like, there we go. Now we go. Oh, I can't wait to see the new Eat Our Enemies, because they have to redo all the logos in all the dining halls and stuff like that.
Oh, everywhere. Field.
Except for the Beavers.
I mean, all them.
Gotta leave the Beavers obviously up there.
Yeah, but this, I mean, Dan Lanning and the coaching staff he puts together year after year, as he says, bringing good coaches, they're going to leave for, they're going to be there for a few years and they're going to go on to bigger and better things. Coach Dillingham, Coach Locke, I mean, these guys move on, but, everybody he brings in, we're more excited about. Willie Stein. Some people had questions about him going into last season, and I just think he proved everybody wrong and proved them that, he could do it at the highest level, which is awesome to see. And then Coach Samples, we're, like I said, glad to have him on, and he got his very first commit, like I said, with Hill. I mean, that's a big, confidence boost, being only there, month and a half or so, and get your first commit already. That's a big one. And then Oregon's got a couple commits coming up in the end of June that they're really in the hunt for. I mean, did you guys see the tight end out of Kansas? Deshaun Brame. He's the number 3 tight end in the nation right now on 3.
4-star, choosing between Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Oregon.
Yes.
Yep.
Quite a little selection there, obviously, of top upper level tier schools that he has to choose from. And Oregon has been kind of, let's put it this way, it may not be quote unquote tight end you in the sense of drafted one, but like look at Ferguson, his potential going after this next year. I don't even know how many Oregon tight ends are still in the league technically. I know we have Munt is still in the league, I believe.
Yeah.
Please,
Johnny Munt's still in.
We have a couple others I know. I don't know if they're practice squad these days or if they're still like second or third string, but there's still a few guys around. The Rams had 2 of our tight ends for like a year.
Yeah, this kid, even though he's like a jumbo receiver, he can play outside. He runs clean routes. He bullies the defense. I mean, he tracks the ball really well, like a receiver. Last year he had 46 receptions for 942 yards and 13 touchdowns. I mean, those are pretty good numbers for a tight end we're talking about. I mean, he's 6'4.5", 225. I mean, that's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's a big boy who's can be versatile, like you just mentioned. He's definitely could be not just the tight end. He could be put out, kind of flexed out, kind of like what they do with
Yes.
Ferguson a little bit. You know, they kind of do that with him a little bit, but with him, he could be even more so as your like seam threat. Kind of like
Yeah,
I
easily.
hate to use
He
it.
bullies.
No, go ahead.
Oh, he like I said, he bullies the defensive backs and the safeties. I mean, if you read up on him, he easily beats press coverage. So I could easily see him, like you're talking about, put him in the slot, run a seam route. I mean, I think that's really what's going to happen. But I mean, only time will tell, obviously, and got to get him to commit and get to Oregon first. But I could see big things for this kid.
He could easily be. We kind of Spaz brought up his name earlier randomly, and he could be kind of a mix between like a smooth-handed David Paulson or a bully of Colt Lyerla. You know, kind of like obviously he's good at catching the pass, but kind of a bully. Colt Lyerla was a big boy, and he would just push past the linebackers in those seams. Watch the Kansas State Fiesta Bowl, for instance, for those ones, as I recall. But yeah, he's a big boy and very talented. So Oregon's definitely in the mix. So, but that is coming up June 29th, if I'm not
Yes, and then he has the official visit on June 21st. So Oregon has that last visit right before he commits. So, that's always a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, the school that gets the final visit tends to always try to leave definitely the best impression.
And if we're able to get Keelan Russell in for a visit next month, which is from all indications what they're shooting for, is hopefully to get him out here in the next month for an official visit, and then see what happens. We could end up having two top 5-star quarterbacks in here next year, and that's okay. Uh, you know, uh, I don't think it's going to upset or offend Legacy in any way. I think he will be okay with the challenge and the opportunity to to play with another legitimate threat like himself. Makes both of those players makes both of them even better. Competition breeds greatness.
There you go. That was exactly what I was going to say. That's what Lanning preaches. Is
Iron sharpens iron.
What's that?
But what about, I said, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right after the 29th commitment, we got another commitment date of June 30th for the linebacker out of California.
I'm looking at the page right now. I'm like, stealing my thunder. Noah McHale.
Yes, he's another good-looking guy. I mean, he's the number 6 linebacker in the nation. Yet again, pushing these high numbers, like you guys were talking about, these recruits. These are high-end recruits that everyone around the country would love to have. And, Oregon's lucky to be in the top, even in the conversation with their finalist decision. And it's awesome to see that we're finally pulling through this. Where, he's from California, though. That's our pipeline state. That's a recruiting pipeline. We got lots of roots down there. The last decade or so, we've really beat out USC, thankfully, there, and gotten some really great talent from the state of California. This guy's number 72 nationally. I mean, his numbers pop off the page yet again. I mean, this guy's putting in a high school season, where they have, depending on how far you go into the state championship, 12 games or so. If you go a little ways. And he has 166 tackles, 15 tackles for losses, 1 sack, 3 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. So he's just a tackling machine.
And he does have official visits coming up. USC first, then Oregon, then Texas A&M. And he does have high praise for all programs, but apparently he hasn't eliminated any program. But obviously, if he has his official visits, those 3, I would say it's really a Texas A&M Oregon battle because, of course, Mike Elko is a defensive, also minded coach like Dan Lanning.
Yes.
And if you're a defensive guy, that's going to be a very attractive situation. So.
Well, and right now we got like on the edge and everything where so a lot of guys are right now. We got a lot of young talent on our defensive side. You look at our defensive end, you got a lot of sophomores, even freshmen that are in the rotation that were in the rotation last year. They played 60% of snaps. I mean, so Oregon is bringing in these young guys and letting them compete, which I think, let the best man win. Iron sharpens iron. We're not going to hold anything back. And I think that's really speaking to these recruits and wanting to bring them here because not only are they going to get a shot, but, they're ready for the competition like Spaz was talking about. Competition, breeds excellence, and they're just trying to bring in the best. They're being upfront about it, which I love. Telling recruits, okay, we got you. You're coming here. We're going to go try to get someone even better. And we want you to battle it out. And we want to see who's going to be on that field on Saturday, and that's awesome to see. They just don't stop.
Yeah, it's a never ending process. You got to spend hours upon hours upon hours upon hours with these recruits and the parents and on flights and hotels, and it's wild what it takes to put a top program together. It's insane.
Haven't you noticed that Lanning came with a gorgeous beard and it is graying already? Just going into his 3rd season of the amount of stress that it takes to build a relationship with the roster and then build the roster the way you want with the commits, and even more so than just dealing with the defensive side because he's dealing with everything. And he's already been aging. And that man is only like 7 months older than I am. That's how crazy that is. Now I sound old. Shut up, Stas. Old man.
Yeah. It's just impressive what Oregon's putting together. And, I remember being in the spaces when Mario left and people were like, oh no, the sky is falling. And I was thinking the sky was falling. I was like, what are we going to get now? And I was like, Dan Lanning, who's that? Because again, 3-4 years ago, I wasn't paying as much attention to the recruiting and the building. And, I was just watching football. And after Lanning came in, I was like, all right, let's check this out. And just like floored. And that Colorado game last year just sealed it for me. It did.
That was what did it? The Colorado game? That was the one that did it?
No, I mean, that speech that he gave, I was just like, wow, that is like 1960s Newt Rockney. Let's go knock him in the teeth. That you don't see in a lot of coaching. And a guy his age with that mindset and that insight and that fight and hunger is just like, wow, okay.
Well, you guys have been to games in the last couple of years at Odson. I mean,
Yeah, I go at least one every year. At least last year I went to three of them. I went to Hawaii when we played in the preseason, and it was Washington State and USC.
All right, on. Yeah, I haven't been to a game in a couple of years, so I'm stoked. I'm ready to go have some fun.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
think
then
oh, sorry, go for it, go for
oh
it.
no, go ahead, Ben.
No, I was just right, and people know this is like that's it. I was at the Tech game, the Texas Tech game in Lubbock this last season, and again we were down like 14 points late in the third, and I was like, ah, crap. And then watching that coaching staff and the players fire into each other, I was like, this is a team that believes in themselves, even in a bad situation, and pulled it out. And then you watch that Go Ducks video later where Lanning's like, 60 minutes, leave it all on the field. Doesn't matter if it takes 60 minutes or longer, like overtime. Leave it on the field. Yeah, his speeches are like impressive as hell.
Vince
We need to,
Lombardi.
yeah, we're gonna have to make a collage of just like a video feature, just his speeches
Yeah.
for some games because it's.
No, yeah, his speeches are really it's funny that you brought up the Colorado game because he'll never let a reporter in the locker room again after that because that was never supposed to get out. That was never supposed to be out like that. He didn't like the publicity, even though it fired a bunch of Oregon fans up. It also didn't make a lot of people happy, and he didn't like that. I mean, he said it for the guys and the guys only. He didn't do it for all the clicks and all the hype or anything like that. But you know, I agree with you guys. He has some way to fire some people up. He believes in the the players believe in him and buy into what he's trying to sell them. And that's a big part. You can have the best players in the nation, I believe, and if they don't buy into what you're trying to sell them as a coach,
Yeah.
then they're not going to gel and they're not going to be what they could be. They might be good. I'm not saying they won't be good. They probably won't be great.
No.
And that's the difference is that Oregon's trying to lead these players to greatness. They're trying to lead them to the first national championship, be that player that brings the first one to Oregon. Be that player.
Mike Malone of the Denver Nuggets is the perfect example of that. It's a guy that nobody really knew much of, but what he did in a small market in Denver and how he built that Nugget franchise over the last 6-7 years was an example of how he got guys to buy into the system and buy into what he was teaching and what he was pushing out there. And that's where I see Dan Lanning right in that same realm. This is a team that believes in their coach and their coaches and believes in the system that they have put in front of them, and they're willing to fight for it.
Well, and like you guys are saying, hey, this started with, and we're going to go back a little bit. This started with Rich Brooks, up and down, but started building actual program. Mike Bellotti took over it, some up and downs, but escalated it, took it kind of even to a higher, more consistent level. Chip Kelly, a brilliant hire by Mike Bellotti, took it to obviously the extremes. Then we had, Mark Helfrich, who kind of ran with it and lost control of it. But I mean, during those years, yeah, we like you were saying, Jeff Schwartz, we weren't getting 4 or 5-star players. You were getting 2, 3 stars and developing the talent. And I would say that going after the 4 and 5 stars kind of started under Cristobal. All credit due to him and some of the staff there. they were going at least openly saying, we're going after this guy. People before weren't going after 4 or 5 stars openly, like much.
Right.
Certainly not 5 stars. And Lanning's like, no, we can get those guys here. I don't care. I'm going straight after them, and I'm going to sell the program. Sorry, apologize. We're going to sell it to them, bring them in, develop, and show what we can do, and take this to the next level, just as you said. So, yeah, it's kind of a whole new age that it's been a very slow progression, but in the last like 5-6 years, it's really progressed where it's like, nah, we don't not necessarily don't have to need 3 stars because we still get 3-star and develop, but now we can actually go after these high level 4 or 5 stars and potentially bring them in. Where maybe before we would never have a shot.
So we should also reach out to start reaching out to some of the guys that we know on the Sunday night show, Ben. Maybe get a couple of those guys here and there. Like Sean and either Moose or Mike from Michigan, or even John. You know, we can start bringing a couple of those guys in here and there for a show and talk Big Ten football and get into some of these debates.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna reach out and we're gonna bring on eventually. I'll reach out and I'm sure we can get on Big Ten Ted. I'm sure he'll come on and talk Big Ten football with us because he's also
That'd be
high on
awesome.
Oregon. He's also very high on what Oregon's impact could be. But yeah, shout out Mark here too. Don't forget Rob Mullins
for picking Lanning.
for bringing in picking
of
Lanning.
course.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have to sign off tonight, guys.
All right, man.
Hey, Huffman, let everyone know though where they can follow you, because obviously everyone wants to. If you're a Duck fan, you want to follow him. He's very, very knowledgeable. Probably more knowledgeable overall than I am. Definitely in certain areas like recruiting and stuff. So let everyone know where they can follow you if they want to.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Huffman555. I just started really trying to. I've always followed recruiting in Oregon and loved the sport since I've been a little big kid. Been a Duck fan my whole life. Just really love recruiting, really digging into the details and figuring out, these upcoming recruits to who we got. I love going to the games and looking at all the freshmen and being able to know who they are as they're running towards me, not after they turn around and see their name on their jerseys. And I'm just really looking forward to, being able to talk with you guys and being able to talk Duck football, no matter if it's game recaps to previews and to recruiting. I mean, it's just, I love Oregon football.
Damn right.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
All right, guys. See you next time.
All right.
Yep.
We'll see you. And then it was just you and
It was just
the ugly two.
We're not the duplicators, we're the originators.
Yeah, no, definitely. We will start bringing on some people if we can. Other people, like just not simple guests, but other Big Ten fans of other teams to start talking potential like kind of matchups or expectations of each team season, the game outcomes. We are reaching out to multiple other bigger guests also to come in and have their insight, their knowledge, their history, expectations, all that type of stuff. We have all that in the works. It takes a bunch of it takes time, and we have to compromise.
Yeah,
we have to compromise with their schedule also to be available for it. So it's like it takes some finessing, so to say.
And if you guys want to keep up to date, really up to date with stuff, go listen to Max Torres and all those guys over at Scoop Duck.
Spencer McLaughlin,
Spencer
Locked On
Laughlin,
Ducks.
Ryan Winters at Sports Chat 503
Mm-hmm.
has a weekly show, sometimes goes every couple of days, has great guests. These guys are down there in the trenches, getting the stories and getting the interviews with the recruits and parents at times. Scoop Duck 503, give those guys Scoop Duck Nation, bleh, Sports Talk 503. Those guys are great. I finally got to meet both Max and Ryan a couple weekends ago at the spring game. Great guys. They do a lot of work, and they put their time in to cover the Ducks on a daily, regular basis. And shout out to those guys because they put a lot of hours in.
They definitely do. And that's not to take away from any of the other former guests we've had here too, like Rock Boys. The other week, those guys cover all of college football. They're great, and they're very high on Oregon, so they do a great job covering all of the announcements for the team. I mean, they beat us to the spring game review, for damn sake. That was impressive. I was like, really? How did that happen? So.
And if you guys are in the Eugene, Springfield area and you're hungry, you want some great Mexican food and great drinks, go to 15th in Mohawk at Ranchitos. Go say hi to my friend Ruben and tell him that Oregon Live, Exploring with Ben and Sam and Spaz sent you. He'll treat you great. He's got a great crew. They got good food, good drinks, and lots of fun.
Damn right. I need to get up. I will get up there. When I get up there, I will be there. We'll be judging that.
You got like 5 different sauces for his chips.
Oh, I want all. I'm gonna be like, hey, I want to sample all of them.
Oh yeah, he brought out the other day. He brought out trays, and one of the trays was just different dips.
Oh hell yeah!
I was just like, chips and sauce. I don't need anything else.
Damn it, Spaz. I didn't really eat. I just cooked dinner. I didn't eat it though. I was late. Yeah, now I'm getting hungry. Chips and sauce. Let's go.
Yep. Great authentic Mexican food.
Yeah, so this next week, we might be live. It might be a little sporadic live. I don't like to say that, so I'm not going to set a time or a day because it might just be
poof.
Very last second notice. So please, again, if you're watching this, subscribe and hit the notification bell because if we go sporadically live this next week, it will be with a very special guest. And we're just kind of waiting on confirmation of a time and date availability, if possible. So no guarantees, but of course, any other breaking news, we will be right back here on Tuesday or Wednesday night at about the usual, approximately 9 p.m. Central. I should put 9 p.m. ish. Yeah, ish.
We should put 9 to 10. 9 to 10 p.m.
9 to 10 p.m. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in that time frame, depending on what's happening. But yeah, we're going to be following up with all this stuff, especially coming up later when the commitments come up. Because, of course, that's going to
We got several visits coming next month, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to help start shaping the future recruiting classes, which is huge. Because
we haven't even hardly sniffed the road yet for this 25 class, and we're already projected at 6.
Yeah.
And we haven't even sniffed the recruiting trail, but just a little.
So we are, it's an exciting time. It is. There's a lot of guys coming in, there's a lot of guys committing soon, and even some flips, potentially. So stay tuned here, and to all the other guys like you mentioned.
According more to Oregon.
What? Don't do that to me.
Hopefully.
Don't do that to me. I don't know. All right, Spaz, where can people find you online if they want to stalk your ass?
Well, they could find me right there. That one. I missed
it. Oh
it.
my god. Here we go.
At _SpazDrag on Twitter. You can find me there on Instagram as well. And you can find me on Spaces occasionally. I don't do as many lately. I'm just kind of burned out. There was some things. So, yeah. People and some of their, yeah, it happens. Not everybody gets along. Oh, well.
I'm shocked that people in Spaces wouldn't get along. Shocked.
Right?
I roll. Yeah, everyone follow the guy, our boy Nathan Huffman555 on Instagram. Definitely check him out there. And I am just Ben of Exploring with Ben and Sam, right here on YouTube. That's the primary area. You can follow me Exploring with Ben on Twitter too, even though I don't post that much, but mostly YouTube. Definitely go check it out. It's not sports related content at all, but that's
21 and over.
It's definitely 18 and over, primarily, especially the live shows. Just
Oh, yeah.
I will be warned. You'll be seeing a whole different side, so to say. Not sports related. So, but Spaz, final comments on some of these upcoming guys.
I'm just excited to see where we keep going up from here, you know. And see what the 25 class brings and the 26 class, and we just keep building a monster here, building a legacy, and I like it. And we got a legacy coming in next year, so if we can build more legacies with that, I'm all for it. Let's build a dynasty. Let's go, baby. Let's win 2 or 3 natties. I mean, I'm ready. Y'all think I'm nuts now? Wait till we win a natty. Y'all ain't gonna get me to shut up for nothing. I'll be hounding everybody. I'll be on everybody's Twitter. I'll be on everybody's whatever. I'll be that dude. Yeah, I'll be that dude.
I mean,
I'm ready.
It's hard to say. I'm not going to dive into this night. We could have that conversation one night, but if that happens, when it happens, yeah, because of the fact the program has been so close over the years before, to have it happen, you would think would just continue to escalate it, because it would be like Georgia, they've been on the verge of getting towards the potential, and then they built and they built and they built, and boom, boom, boom. That could be the Oregon thing. We don't know. Not going to speculate. We hope. I want to be like Moose and be a maniacal maniac.
Yeah.
You know?
He earned that right. My time's coming.
So, all right, everyone. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And we might be back this next week with a special guest. That's hence the point of the notifications, so you'll notice when we go live, or if anything else pops up, of course. Otherwise, we will definitely see you in 2 weeks for follow-up information as more recruiting or commitment dates are set. So once again, Spaz, thank you very much for behaving yourselves tonight. I appreciate that.
I try.
You tried. You did so good. I'm so proud of you. All right, everyone. Have a good one. We'll see you soon.
Go Ducks.